I'll do my damnedest.
Hey guys, I know I've already done 2 videos on it, but this one's going to be a little different. It's going to be just shitting all over the Secret Service and just shit talking how absolutely bad of a job they did. Like, I know it's a really hard job to do, but you do take like an oath of duty to do it, and their fuck up nearly cost us pretty much no alternative to globalist managed decline of the entire free West through like shitty globalist plants like Biden, and obviously the subversion of America, which is pretty much our last true hope against, you know, authoritarian / totalitarian globalism being implemented throughout the entire world. And it's, you know, pro-pedo, pro-trans, pro-climate change agenda, which will control pretty much every aspect of your life. So, not far off basically Stalinist control over your life, but for different, theoretically moral reasons than the greater good of the collective Soviet socialist people. It would be the, yeah, collective good in the name of trans, climate change, and yeah, the rest of it. So, in light of their recent failure, I just wanted to shit talk them for like 20 minutes on how shit and bad they were. First of all, there was more than 2 minutes warning of a dude crawling on a roof with a rifle pointing in the direction of Trump. Over 2 minutes of warning, no action. People in the crowd noticing before both the Secret Service and the police did. It was obvious the guy was a threat. He had a rifle and he was like army crawling on a roof. That people spotted him straight away is just testament to how incompetent he was. Like, he wasn't a competent assassin. He wasn't shooting from cover in a room with like a sheet or netting in front of him to hide like his optic glare, hide the muzzle flash, hide the dust rise from his muzzle flash. Like, none of that. He didn't punch a hole out in a brick wall to shoot through a hole. Like, he's not a competent sniper. He was on a fucking roof. And like, most of the people there saw him. Like, that's fucking embarrassing. He got off 8 shots. Just saying. Like, that's just completely retarded. Point 2, the Secret Service was looking at him for a solid 30 seconds through the rifle scope. Absolutely no action until he fired like 8 times. So that's just a complete failure, right? After that, they know someone's shooting at him. They know someone's shooting at him with a rifle. They pile onto Trump. Okay, in my opinion, that just makes him like a completely stationary target. People do not stop rifle rounds. If that shooter was still alive, wasn't immediately taken out by the snipers on the roof, he would have had like a clean shot at Trump. He would have just shot through all the bodies and hit Trump. Like, the armor, unless it's like level 4 or above, I don't think it like stops rifle rounds. And even then, the way that Trump fell, he would have been on his side, meaning he wouldn't have had like an armor face coming from the direction of the line of fire. So, like that's silly again. Like, had this been like organized, like properly organized, and been like the Kennedy assassination, where they had like multiple shooters from different directions and they fired synchronized shots at the same time, or as, you know, as close as they could to get it, because given that the amount of people there heard way more shots than was alleged. Yeah, it's just a complete embarrassment. But like, that's enough of the most competent part of it. Now we're getting onto the DEI shit. We're gonna shit all over them for a bit, because like, this is my favorite part of it. And you just know that I love to shit on like female narcissism, incompetence, and, you know, female feminist diversity hiring and all that sort of shit. So I'm just gonna fucking do that. There is like a picture out there of the female secret service agent that looks like Amy Schumer, using, like, she's behind a lot of them. So she's using not only Trump as cover, but all her like fellow Secret Service agents as cover from like the direction of fire. Like, have a look at that picture. It's fucking as hilarious as it sounds. But like, this gets even better when you like start thinking about it logically. So first of all, the shooter's using a rifle. So you need a 4 or above vest to stop it. Humans are not cover against rifles, basically. Like, even 5.56 that like yours and spalls, like spins in the body and stuff, they still come out the backside and go into other shit, basically. So taking cover, like her taking cover behind just other people, is just silly. It's like, at best it would be like visual cover. The second point, obviously, female narcissism, Marxist diversity hiring practices. She completely failed in her duty. She used her charge as cover, basically. She's meant to either provide the safety of the charge or be the cover for her charge in the event she fails providing the safety. She used Trump as a shield. Like, that's fucked up. And like, point 3 is just a combination of the other 2 points, and it's like my favorite point of all of them. Like, okay, so she used Trump as visual cover, because we've established bullets go straight through people, rifle rounds go straight through people. So she used Trump at visual cover, that a bullet would go right through, and Trump was the thing that the shooter was actively aiming at and shooting at, meaning she was using visual cover for the thing that the shooter was aiming at. Like, you can't make that up. I mean, come on. Like, using the thing that the shooter is shooting at for cover. Like, you're basically asking to get shot. Like, that was just a fuck up all around. Could you imagine had like the shooter been like competent for a second, and not like some fucking retarded 20-year-old who was very likely propagandized by bloody MSNBC and fucking all the Democrat talking points about Trump being a Hitler, despite the fact that he, if anything, he gave people more property rights by lowering taxes and shit. It's like the opposite end of what they think, but they're so fucking stupid they don't understand. Could you imagine had that shooter been competent and shot from like, let's say like a DC sniper platform from like the back of a van or something with like a a shooting hole cut out of it, with netting in front of it, like, he would have killed everyone. They would never have found him. Like, it's just so stupid. It's bloody absolutely insane. It's just a complete failure of duty. And like, that's so bad of a failure of duty because it like almost subjected us all to basically globalist totalitarianism. Without Trump, there is no one like to stop Biden's agenda besides maybe his sons, if they decide to run for office. And even then, people don't really like Trump's sons that much. I guess they like them more than Trump himself, but, well, I guess some people on the left, or at least that will vote Democrat, may vote for Trump's sons more than Trump. Just because, you know, they don't have as much dirt thrown at them as Trump did. But yeah, look, they would have to run campaigns, they would have to learn everything. Like, I'm sure they're competent businessmen, but I doubt they're like Trump levels of competence, like in terms of experience and stuff like that. But yeah, like, that had to have been probably like, okay, so the CIA probably didn't organize that, just given how incompetent everything there was, right? Still leaves the left responsible because obviously they've been calling Trump Hitler for years and years and years. The three-letter agencies weren't directly responsible for it. They were kind of responsible for it nearly succeeding though, just through incompetence. Like, the CIA, they've got access to like incredible amounts of information, planning stuff, resources, guns. They'd have the sniper netting. They'd be able to do multiple shooters at once if they were like really trying to kill Trump, right? I don't think they can afford to in this climate, because I think like the people just turn on them. They're already turning on them, like, given the amount of pedophilia and shit that the CIA and the FBI and everything like that just let slip. Like, they completely failed to provide justice as a service. They're fucking absolutely shit. But if they were like actively organizing it, like deliberately trying to kill him, like in the manner similar to JFK, which I don't think they would do again, because look, how many years after JFK are we, and we're still talking about it, and we still know exactly what they did? I don't think they want another one of them in history. But that area, that was like wide open. They could have planted people in like ghillie suits in those fields. They could have done all sorts of shit. Like, that, a retard on a roof got as close as like he did, shows you that if the CIA were really trying to kill Trump, they probably fucking could, right? That being said, like, there's obviously other psychological operation shit going on here. Like, they could very well have programmed that dude just through like social media feed and stuff like that, to go straight for Trump and try and shoot him. Like, think about the amount of control they have over your emotions, spending habits, and all that sort of thing. Just through advertising and social media. Like, everyone these days is addicted to social media. Like, you can control people's emotions, whether they're happy or sad. You could probably deterministically control their choices in their life with their purchases and stuff like that. At least sort of indirectly. And like, the CIA are the people that would, you know, try and do it if they could. For sure. Like, they were drugging people and shit. Like, look at MK Ultra and all the bloody CIA shit they were doing. Controlling media assets, controlling media narratives. Like, You're telling me if they they wouldn't control your behavior through like Facebook and stuff? Most people don't even realize where their feed comes from. You're telling me there's not an AI behind that feed that could manipulate your emotions? Like, just through social media? It could, like, show you a cat minute, like, one video to raise your endorphins, to make you more likely to say yes to things. And then it could just show you, like, a campaign ad or something. Yeah, or it could show you, like, a friggin' animal harm video or something to get you, like, really angry, really righteously angry. And then it could show you, like, some sort of recent political injustice to get you to swing to one side of the political spectrum. Like, there's all sorts of shit that they could do through social media to control you. Like, yeah. And, like, it doesn't even have to be that simple. They would have your entire, like, search histories. They'd have entire advertising profiles on you. They'd have your entire, like, relationship history and everything through your social media, through your Facebook and everything like that. Everything you put online. They'd probably have access, but through, you know, Google and advertisers and stuff listening to you through your device, they'd probably have access to, like, all your personal relationships. Like, they'd probably know who's, like, cheating on their spouses and shit like that. Like, that amount of information, like, fed through an AI would allow you to, like, manipulate people pretty well. But it'd take, like, a hell of a lot of computing power and stuff. But I'd guess that they'd have at least some ability to do that. At least to target specific individuals to do that. Like, yeah. That's why, like, I'm always a bit suspect when all these shooters and school shooters go off and the FBI and everything say, oh, they're always on our radar and all that sort of shit. Okay, and they're all, like, the same, which is, like, bad. They're all, like, introverted, socially isolated, bullied and stuff. And, like, fuck you guys for that, because, like, I'm very introverted and socially isolated. Like, fucking leave me alone. Don't put me in the same fucking category as bloody school shooters, you cunts. But, if they're, like, introverted, socially isolated, their only contact is through social media. Like, they'd be even easier to program, because, like, you're controlling their entire stimuli, their entire, like, deterministic stimuli. You'd be able to fucking get them to think about shit so easily. So, like, that's where, like, Alex Jones was coming from when he was saying, like, the Sandy Hook shooters were, like, crisis actors and stuff. Like, I don't think they were. I think they legitimately had people die, their sons and daughters and stuff die in that school shooting, and that's horrible. And, like, my heart goes out to them. I can only imagine. But, like, how are the shooters getting, like, radicalized every time? And how come they're always on the radar and they're never caught? If you know what I mean? Like, okay, you're monitoring fucking everything, right? You should be able to, you know, do your duty and, you know, safely prevent school shootings from happening. But they never do. They never get them. And then they, like, cover up their involvement after the fact. And then after the fact again, they very, very conveniently push, you know, gun control as hard as they can in order to increase the government's power, which is, like, in their direct interest. But, like, so it's pretty unclear at this point whether or not the Secret Service was deliberately trying to kill Trump, right? Because if they were trying to do it outright, didn't care, it weren't trying to make it look like an accident or something like that, or like a legitimate attempt by them to kill Trump. Look, in terms of that, it does look like it was a loner, just because the loner was so incompetent. But then you've got, like, other aspects of it, which look fucking suspicious as fuck. That it took, like, 2 minutes, 2 whole minutes, 1,000, 2 1,000, count that out, 2 minutes. That's fucking ages. That the snipers had the shooter in their sights for, like, 30 seconds. Like, that's a really long time, right? That looks a little bit like they were deliberately trying to have him killed indirectly. So, assuming they didn't program this kid to this 20-year-old who fucking knows nothing about the world, who, you know, literally climbed up on a roof in view of the crowd and attempted to take a shot at the president. Like, assuming they didn't program him through, like, social media and manipulation and all that sort of shit online, yeah, with control of, like, pretty much entire media sources, and that includes mainstream news media like MSNBC calling Trump like a Hitler and a fascist and all that sort of thing. Like, assuming all that, like, didn't happen, the Secret Service after that fucking failed pretty hard. And it seems to be pretty deliberately hard to, you know, not call that an attempted assassination, right? And look, there's other ways like that they could theoretically program someone through social media. Like, well, I didn't even go into all of them. I just went into one. That would just be the halo effect, right? Be like showing something good and then showing some political message that you want them to associate with the good, or showing something bad and then showing them something you want them to associate, you know, with bad. Like, that's just the halo effect. There's a ton of others. There's like conformity, there are appeals to celebrity, there are appeals to corrupt authority, there's just obedience to authority, simple obedience to authority that like takes, yeah, that just takes a large portion of the population. Like, there's a ton of ways, like, just even like down to just regular self-interest, like the threat that something bad will happen to you if you don't believe in this sort of political message. Like, even just that, like, accounts for a ton of people. Like, it's deformed China and the Soviet Union and all that. It, like, deformed them for years and years and years. Like, they're people too. They're not, like, that different from us. Like, culturally speaking, they're a little bit different, but they're not... It's not like race plays a factor here. They're all human beings. Like, you should look at human beings as one-to-one. And, like, if it can happen to them, it can happen to us just as easily.